Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host today, Sean Higgs, and it's a Wednesday. I got Jesse Schule and Chip Chirimbes with me, and as always, we want you to hit the like button here on the YouTube channel. Notification bells on. Subscribe. We're at 14,000. I said I wanted 15,000 by December, end of the year. I think we might be able to get 15,000 by the start of football season, which would be great for us and our sponsor, GamblersWorld.net, where you can find me, these two gentlemen, 11 total handicappers involved, all picks guaranteed, 3, 7, and 30-day packages, which means if we don't show a profit and a nice winning run for you there, you get credited back the account for whatever you spent on the package. And also, since it is July 4th and Chip's rocking his bicentennial, we do have a 4 for 4. It's buy a 3-day packet, a 4th day free. There it is. On the ball, 4th of July sale. It's all weekend long for the holiday. So buy a 3-day pass, you get the 4-day free. You get the entire weekend. Can't go wrong with that. Again, it's Wednesday the 3rd. No show tomorrow, though, for the holiday. No show tomorrow. Friday, me, Jesse, and Ross will be here for you on a Friday at no live. It's a regular morning kind of show taping for us. So there's that. The live football Fridays, that's what I'm going to call them, because when we come back, it'll be football season, basically, in August. So there you go with that. But, yeah, a 3-pack of games we're looking at today. On tap, we have, I'm doing San Fran, Atlanta, Jesse, the O's, and Seattle, Reds, Yanks for Chipper. Yesterday on the show, a 2-in-1 day. Headline, Jesse with a nice winner there with Arizona on the run line. Needed every bit of that one because I would have been like, just take the big dog. But plus 1.5 winner there. Ross cashes on the Phillies. I had the lone loser on a doggy plus 102 Mariners. But, hey, we're having a nice week. We won. Chipper was here Monday. We went 2-1 on Monday. Me, you, and Doug. I hit a couple Ruby props for a plus 310 on top of the 1-1. So we have some standards to live up to here. So we have to at least go 2-1. I know some people complain about 2-1 days, but I don't understand that. Chip, how are you today?
Well, I have to tell you, Sean, what goes up must come down. And I've come on the last 2 weeks in this show telling you I was 3-0, 2-0, 1-0. Well, yesterday I took the collar. I was 0-3 in Major League Baseball. It happens to all of us at one time or another during the season, but I'm looking to bounce back pretty strong today. I did have the winner on the show, and I look to have a winner again today on the show.
Well, I got to say, maybe I was something, because I had a losing day as well yesterday in baseball. Yeah. So sometimes it's just a bad day. And if,
it was for me.
Another pro is a bad day. You kind of feel like, all right, maybe it's just one of those days. Yeah. Jesse, how'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, the kids on the internet have a saying, Sean. It goes like this:
Skippity Riz, Ohio.
I threw up all over myself yesterday. There's bad days, but yesterday I had a game of the year on the over in the Colorado-Milwaukee game, and somehow, some way, a pitcher by the name of Dallas Keuchel that got purchased for $1 had the game of his life, and another guy, Ryan Fentner, who's never had a good game, hasn't had a good game all season, had one yesterday. I don't know if the ump was calling everything a strike or what was going on, but they couldn't get anywhere close to over the number for me, and it was a tough loss. And you don't want to hear too many bad beat stories. I was bang on with my picks on this show, anyways.
We get it in the chat for when the free picks lose, and sometimes we'll get a hate tweet or something off our premiums, but you're gonna have a winning day and losing day, right? Teams go up and down. Like cappers, we win. We're never going to win every game. But it's weird though, because I was looking at some other sites around, and some people had losing days yesterday. So maybe it was just one of those kind of days where, we were all on different games. We ended up all having a losing day. They're rare, but it happens, folks. It's sports betting, sports gambling. It's not sports stealing. We don't have the sports almanac from Back to the Future. Although the original Back to the Future I saw on Twitter, it came out, I think, 39 years ago. They had a big thing that I follow this thing. It's called All the Right Movies on Twitter. I'll give them a plug here. And every day they have like X amount of years ago, this movie was released, because X amount of years ago could have been a Friday or Saturday or holiday weekend. And they break down like it's a whole like 30, 40 tweet thread about a movie. It's pretty cool stuff. I enjoy it. I thought Chip likes to throw out this day in sports in 1937. I'll just go into a random movie. What are those called? You go into a little black hole there, like on YouTube or something. You get entrenched in something. But speaking of this day in sports, you can get Chip's plays over at gamblersworld.net. The 4 for 4 available for Chip. 3-day package gets you the 4th. Chip is looking at the Reds and the Yankees. Abbott, who I like, then the Reds are plus 155, total of 8.5, courtesy of FanDuel. Yanks a big monster favorite, 180, run line of plus 115. Carlos Rondon will look to end the Yankee skid. It's a skid. They lost yesterday. Listen, I like Abbott. I think Rodon's a good pitcher. Things have not gone well. I'm going to let you steal away. It's your pick. I'll let you know what I think afterwards. But here you go. Abbott and the Reds versus Rodon and the Yanks, Chip.
Well, right now, Sean, if I was back in the city, I would definitely be attending this series because they have one of the most exciting players in baseball for the Reds, who is De La Cruz. And, of course, right now they're the hottest hitter in all of baseball for the last 2 months with 32 homers and 83 RBIs, Aaron Judge. The Yankees have fallen off a little bit of late. And maybe Abbott's going to be able to settle this team down. But I think the way to go with New York, like I did the last time I had this game, is they're going to score runs. The Judge is so hot. I think the best thing they do is don't even throw the ball near the plate when he's up. Put him on first base and see what happens with the rest of the lineup because there are holes in that lineup. Carlos Rondon had 7 straight starts with a win. Now he's gone 3 straight starts with a loss. And listen to these stats, guys. In last 10 innings, he's given up 20 hits and 21 runs in 10 innings. And he's just gotten pounded. Now, Abbott's 7-6. He's really come along from last season, 3.41 ERA. But I think these two teams combine to score a lot of runs. This De La Cruz is exciting. He had a triple and a home run last night in Yankee Stadium. He didn't even get a chance to steal a base. He was already at third by the time the ball came down. The only thing I say about the Reds is they've been consistently inconsistent, particularly with me. I have problems with this club. You know, it happens, guys. I don't know if it happens to you. It happens in basketball to me and sometimes in football where there's just one team that's your nemesis, where you just can't seem to get past it, where your numbers and you figure everything out, and the way it works out that they're aside. You use them aside, and they fall short. That is Cincinnati for me this year. So I'm going to play this game over the total. Look for the Yankees to put a little pop in the bat. Soto has no problems with left-handed pitchers, and Judge just hits everybody right now. So I'm going to play the Yankees and the Reds to go over the total.
Chip officially over Yankees 8.5 versus the Cincinnati Reds. Jesse, thoughts?
Yeah, those numbers that Chip was telling us about Rodon, it makes you wonder if a trip to the DL is on the horizon. You know,
Seriously?
when a guy drops. Well, I see it all the time. When a guy drops, he goes from throwing dynamite to really struggling 3 starts in a row. You know, don't be surprised if all of a sudden, elbow soreness, shoulder soreness, got to take a month off or whatever. So I would be concerned about that. I'm looking at the Reds as a run line dog, and the price looks fairly affordable. I mean, I do look at a lot of run line dogs, and usually you got to pay a big price for the road team getting that 1.5, and it's only about $1.25 here. I kind of like Reds plus 1.5.
All right. Yeah, as you mentioned, the guys get shoved a little bit, and then it's like, oh, we're going to put them, little shoulder tenderness. Last year Rodon was on the injured list, came off. He only threw 63 innings. He's at 93. His last 3 starts, 8 runs, 5 runs, as Chip mentioned. Maybe it's a little dead arm spot. You get that sometimes. Guys come off injured list. They come back. They're hitting. I wanted this game. We were going to do this game yesterday with Ross, and he had another game. But I want to get on him for Louis Gill because, I've been saying about Louis Gill hitting a wall a little bit. Another bad performance last night, gives up some runs. So I think that's a something that players do. They you got to work your way through, and there's going to be sour spots. Sideways here, I like Abbott, but I'm not going to say over the 8.5. The only thing that worries me there, Chip, is that the Yanks kind of poorly, I think 230, 235 versus lefties. And this kid was pretty solid last year as well. But again, your pick, again, for me, I don't have anything to do Yanks. They've been struggling as a team. Yeah. Pitching struggling. Why not? Over the 8.5. Got there last night. I was worried I had the over there in as a free pick. I was worried. I thought, we're going to lose this game. Yankees gets shut out 5-0. This is the way it was going to go down, but over did cash. Now, Jesse is going to be looking at the O's and Seattle. This was supposed to be a Burnsy matchup yesterday, but he had a paternity leave. I guess his wife had a baby over the weekend, so they pushed him back a day. Kramer's coming off the injured list here. Seattle, a small 118, 120 fave here. FanDuel has it at 120, total of 7. Gilbert on the hill. Jess, what do you think here? Again, this is Burns Gilbert would have been a great matchup. Now we have Kramer versus Gilbert. Your thoughts on this one? You were right yesterday. I told you at the beginning of the show. Jesse was right. I was wrong. And he liked the total too. So we went 2-0 to my 0-1 there.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would have liked to see the Burns Gilbert matchup, I think there's better value from a betting standpoint here with Kramer coming off the DL. I did like him a couple years ago in Baltimore. He sort of regressed last year, didn't have the best year, and he was not great early on this season before hitting the DL. I had a look at his 3 rehab starts at AAA, 8 2/3 innings, 11.42 ERA. So he wasn't impressing in his rehab starts. So there's not a lot to be optimistic about with Kramer starting in Seattle. I guess maybe you could say he's facing a Seattle lineup that doesn't really scare too many people. But
that's for sure.
Whatever you want to say about Seattle and their lack of scoring, they do get the job done at home. They have the second best home record in the American League behind the Orioles. And Logan Gilbert has been on fire of late. His last 5 starts, 2-1, 1.51 ERA. I like Gilbert. It looks like a great matchup, and the price quite affordable to back the. It's almost like they didn't get the memo that Burns isn't starting, and you got a Kramer coming off the DL. When I look at that price, I got no choice. I got to back the home favorite here.
Yeah, Chipper.
Well, I was looking at this game and expecting Burns and looking to play the under with Gilbert and Burns going head-to-head. I mean, their numbers are really outstanding. Gilbert's only given up 78 hits in 112 innings. I mean, this guy's putting people down. He's tough to put the bat on the ball. Yet he's only 5-4. His ERA is 2.7. Seattle hasn't supported him as well as they could. But today is July 3rd. And you know what that means? That means there was a big day in sports history on July 3rd. Babe Dickerson won the U.S. Open in 1954. Now listen to this, Sean. I'm doing golf here because of what happened here. She won by 12 strokes the U.S. Open after having a 14-month layoff because of having colon cancer operation. And this day in 1968, I got a trivia question for both you guys. Louis Tiant struck out 19 players, a 1-0 10-inning victory. Who was he pitching for in 1968?
Red Sox.
Cleveland. Yes, and I got more about Cleveland, because in
I was going to say the Giants. I wasn't even sure where Louis Tiant was at.
The last one.
So that was 68. He was
1901 was known as the Spiders, and they had a player named Louis Sockalexis, and he hit .313 over 7 years, and he was a Native American born in Maine. And he was so spirited when he played, and he was spirited off the field as well, and had been reprimanded by the club. But anyway, they changed their name from the Cleveland Spiders to the Naps when Napoleon was there. And then in 1915, the Cleveland Indians changed their name in honor of this American Indian and called themselves the Cleveland Indians. Now they're racist to be called the Cleveland Indians. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this decision to change the name was made 4 years ago today, July 3rd. In 2020. Now you're talking about this game. I think I'm going to have to play Seattle. They got beat last night. They got shut out. I'm going to take Seattle over Baltimore. And good luck. I hate to go against any of you guys because, your record is so good. But my instinct was to play the under without Burns out there. I'm going to take Seattle.
Jesse's officially on Seattle. Chip likes Seattle. I'm going to come in and say Seattle also here. And Gilbert at home, a .184 batting average against, a .79 whip. As Jesse said, 28-15 for Seattle at home, which is pretty darn good. Baltimore, I love betting them on the road because at 25-14 this year, and last year I think they were top 3, and the year before that, also a top 3 win team on the road. Zero respect, but it's just that how is this still a 120? This is like the Rocky line last night going from 11.5 down to 11 with Dallas Keuchel on the hill. This is not moved. This just shows you the utter lack of respect for Seattle hitters, no matter who's throwing for them. They could bring out Louis T on to throw 19 strikeouts today, even though Kramer's off an injured list. You are barely a favorite at home with an ace on the hill versus a guy who's off the injured list, a choppy rehab, which is those things you're excited when they're good. You say, whatever when they're bad. That's not a good look coming off that. I mean, holy cow.
But in this case, though, Sean, if a guy's struggled early in the season before he goes on the DL, he's coming off of he regressed last year after having a decent year the prior year. So, I mean, you'd like to see some better numbers in rehab. I don't think he's in a position where he can go and try new things, and you could be. He doesn't really give us any reason for optimism, in my opinion.
Oh, no, I agree. Like most times you see like a star pitchers like having a bad spring training because you say, well, I'm trying to throw another pitch here. I'm just throwing meatballs across the board or stuff like that. So that's acceptable. Not in July when you're having a 4 ERA season. Again, you get shelled at home. It is what it is. Listen, officially, Jesse is on the Seattle Mariners minus the 120 from FanDuel. Also, Jesse, the 4 for 4. Go get Jesse Schule. He's got to have some soccer probably, right? With Copa and the Euros. I'm sure there'll be some soccer involved in his baseball pick. So 4 for 4. You buy a 3-day packet, the 4th day free. And that's good for all of us here. And even us not on video. So there you go. Those of you who don't want to be on video, I'll still tell you to go get them. Anyway, I've got the San Francisco Giants. Big win yesterday, right? They pulled that. They were winning. I should say big win. I didn't look at the final score there. They were up. They were up in the 9th against the Braves here. Chris Sale, though, on the hill, he is laying a 2-1 right now versus Mr. Hicks. Not Higgs, no relation. Braves, what they do here. Chris Sale, I took a Cy Young future on him just because I thought, you know what, behind Strider and Fried, he's going to be a third starter on this with this offense. I'm thinking he could probably go 17-3 or some. If he kept the ERA under 3, he'd be in it. Now I guess he's the 2 because Fried's having a good year, but 10-3 at 2.70 ERA. I got to say, I was like, wow, pretty good year. I go through his numbers. He gave up 8 runs to the A's and 5 runs to the Marlins.
Right.
The other 13 games, he gave up more than 2 runs once, I believe, or something like that. It's just the guy had been injury prone or just hurt, or however you want to word it. If he's 100% and he's back to what he was pre getting hurt 5-6 years ago, he looks it. He's not a guy I'm going to say, well, maybe there'll be some regression because, yeah, he's been hurt. There's been no sign of it coming along, and I have Mr. Hicks, who is, again, we like our whips and not to be beaten with. We like it because it shows us when guys give up walks, they give up hits, guys on base. He's got a 156 against him last 7 starts. I don't like that. 3 or 4 runs in 4 runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts. I don't love that. I don't love hoping that the Braves come out and start hitting because they are 50-30 to the under or whatever they are. That being said, I'm just going to look at the under in this game. I can't do run line because of the way the Braves hit. I definitely not going to lay $2 because of the way the Braves are. But I could definitely go under an 8 here with these guys because I got a pitcher. I got a lack of hitting. I got a so-so pitcher on the other side. I don't see how if it ends up 5-3 like last night's game, I'd actually be shocked. I think this is more of a 4-1 kind of game, possible shutout as long as the bullpen holds up for a land here. Because Sale's going to go give 6+, not give up anything. Under the 8 is my official play on this game. And I'm just going to put my under 8 here because I keep the records for us in the video. I know you guys do because you come in and comment after the fact. Jesse, thoughts on Sale and Hicks here for San Fran and the Braves?
Yeah, I mean, I feel exactly the same way you do. Can't go against Sale, can't get on Hicks, can't back a huge favorite with 3 of their top hitters out of the lineup. So you've got no choice but to look under. I might look at San Francisco team total under if you can get a reasonable price on a 3.5. I might go that way, but under 8, I like that as well.
Chipper?
Well, I want to comment on something Jesse Schultz said earlier. Jesse said how pitchers have bad outings and all of a sudden they're on the DL. Well, in 1974, Mark Marshall, talk about pitchers going back to back. They won't even. He went 13 consecutive days. He pitched 13 consecutive days, and nowadays you'll never see anything close to that because, like I said, after 2 days they're going to put him in the hospital. And one final comment about my Cleveland ball player, Luis Alexis. He played his way out of baseball because he was such a heavy drinker. The fire water got to him. And this is a true story. He had been reprimanded so much by the Cleveland brass. One night he went out, he got drunk after a game, and he was in a brothel, which was being raided by the police, jumped from the second story, broke his leg, and his major league career was over. But they loved his spirit, so that's why they named themselves the Indians. And I love Chris Sale. This guy is back. He hasn't thrown like this since 2018, maybe 2019. And if they had Strider healthy, this Atlanta team would be a lot better than they are. They've had a few players go down. They're not scoring runs. We know that. Now they're at home. If they're in the lead, they're only getting 8 at-bats. So laying the run line seems kind of precarious here. And that's what I'm going to do. I think they're due to come back here. Hicks has got some pretty good numbers, but I just think Atlanta's ready here. I just like Chris Sale. I saw him throw. He's electric again. And it's been a long time. I mean, he had one good year with Boston, and I think he's won 5-6 games in the last 5 years. So I'm going to take the run line with Atlanta.
Run line is at even money. See, I'm a run line guy. I just the lack of the offense scares me there.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I understand.
Again, they won a World Series without Acuna. I get it. So he's out, but RC is hurt, and it really just comes down. We could just name the whole lineup. Ozuna's the only guy really hitting for them, which is they're in second place with no offense, and their ace out for the year. I mean, that's just a testament to the good pitching. But also, you saw the Phillies and Yanks get pitching, and they race out to 55, 56, 57 wins. These guys with all that pitching are in the mid-40s. Eventually, Sale's going to have a couple rough starts. Lopez is pitching above his head. He's one of those guys like Louis Gill or Lugo or whoever, Suarez and Sanchez. He fits right into that lump of guys way out of their peripheral, which you think would adjust back to a little norm or just have a hiccup or two. I don't know. It should be an interesting month with the trade deadline looming. Who's going to go after what? Definitely pitchers on the move, I think. Go ahead, Chip. What are you going to say?
Well, Sean, laying runs in the game is the most illogical thing you could do, and that's probably why I did it, because you're getting an even money price with the Braves. They're only getting up 8 times, and so you look to get that extra at bat.
Yeah. To
take a visitor in a run line situation. Usually I do when you have a 2-1 favorite, but I'm going to take the Braves here.
You know what I should have looked at for this one? A no bottom 9, or a Chris Sale to win. Chris Sale just to get the win, which you think they'd probably get a couple runs off Hicks because he's given up some runs. And if it's, 3-1 in the 5th or 6th inning, you got that, as long as that kind of holds truth, you'll get the win with Sale. And I'll probably be at like a +1. Most times these are like the +125 range, I think. And the no bottom 9 is, I think, the way to go. That way it saves you on the run line. And I look at these as if you're a $2 favorite or even in a 1.8, anything that high, you're projected to win, and you should have to come to bat in the bottom of the 9th, right? It's a no-brainer for me. Go ahead, Jess. What are you going to say about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Chip's play sounds completely illogical, and he even conceded that. However, when you really break it down, you're under my San Francisco team total under. They probably all rely on each other, and we're looking at a 4-2, 5-2 game if any of us are going to win any of our picks. So even though Chips might sound unconventional, he probably has to cash his for us to win ours. So there you have it.
Makes sense. All right. Before we get to the official plays, again, the 4 for 4 is up on the site. Buy a 3-day pack, get the 4th day free here for the holiday weekend. No show tomorrow. Back Friday. 4 for 4. Go get it. What are you waiting for? And again, if you want to go more than a 3-day, again, on a 7 or 30-day package, we show a profit or you get credited back. And why not? No better time to do it. It's what, the 3rd? You get the whole month. And then you got preseason football and college football the next month if things go awry. So There you go. Jesse, officially on the Seattle Mariners minus the 120 FanDuel. I am on the under 8 Braves FanDuel. Chip's going over the 8.5 FanDuel Yankees. I think that'll just about do us for it. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. I know you will. We'll see you on Friday. Actually, no, we can't do that. Jesse, what do you got to do to the button?
Smash that like button.
There you go.
The kids are up now.
Yeah. Poor Chipper is this. If we hear a ringing, it's his hearing aid going off. It'll backbeat off the thing.
Hey, wait a minute.
I can't leave on that note. He doesn't wear a hearing aid, folks. He's still with us.
What?
All right, bye. For Chip, Jesse, and myself, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Somebody's going to wake up with missing a finger on Friday, so don't let it be you. It always happens. All right, people? Jesus, Lord, God, what are you doing out there? Put some Roman candles in the sand. Definitely
New
not
York
me.
Giants, JPP.
JPP, missing a finger. Unbelievable.
Everybody should be forced to look at the picture of that hand before the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Just to
Crazy.
remind them.
Anyway. All right, everybody. Happy 4th to you. We'll see you Friday. Bye-bye.